Hey everyone, sorry I've been so inattentive of your comments lately. I've been spending all of my time for the last month working on an absolutely monster video, and with Christmas at the same time, I've not been able to check the comments most days. But with Christmas finally over, and that video finally being on the doorstep of completion, I should be able to get back to you all very soon, hopefully. If I'm able to recover from the absolute sundering of my willpower and soul that putting this much effort into a single video has been. Hopefully you will all see it relatively soon. And it will not be as impressive as you're probably imagining. Part of the difficulty with it has just been the fact that the video is both haunted and cursed at the same time. So it's like the file is trying to rebel constantly. But you aren't here for me to complain about that. You are here because it's been over half a year since I did the last roasting video. I mean, yes, there's been the week of roast demands every month, but there's just something different about a full video dedicated to it. It hits alternatively. So before 2024 ends, and we hit 1/4 of the way to the next century, God, I'm getting old, let's slip into one last roasting video. Also, I need something that I can make in like half a day, since I've literally not had time all week until like Saturday evening to make this. I will be up until the last minute before this video goes live, I'm sure of it. And this time you all wanted to see me rip apart Transformers Energon. Right now, there's a vote in the community tab as to what my next roasting video should be, so tell me what you want to see, and without further delay, let's roast the Transformers show that made me give up on the Transformers. But first, your likes! Please give, and maybe subscribe. And this is going to be a hard one to make, because no one gives a crap about this series, so finding pictures of any of the characters online, even in potato vision, is basically impossible. But yes, Transformers way too much butter. The show where even the skinny characters look like they order 2 Big Macs for every meal, and then wash that down with a whole pizza. Case in point, Hotshot, who's fatter than any sports car bot has any right to be. How is it that this asshole looks like he's wearing an entire Lamborghini on his legs, but there's still all of this above his knees? I know that everyone in the show is a combiner, but this dude looks like a Duocon made out of a Countach and a tow truck alone. And what is with the wings, dude? Do you think you're going to fly? You are built like an anvil duct taped to 2 paper plates. Those flimsy fucking things look like they twist in the wind anytime you try to run. Not that you'd ever try to run, because you look like you'd get winded by getting up from the couch to use the bathroom. To be fair, I think I might have a hard time of it too if I stored all of my fat in my shins, so it's like I'm running around everywhere like Rock Lee. But sadly, you can't ever take that stuff off, and the most that you could ever do about it is just saddle someone else with your catastrophic weight. Someone like Inferno, who is somehow even fatter than you. Dude looks like he ate Bulkhead. And no, not the one from This Exercise and a Lack of Exercise. And sorry for all the pictures of the toys I'm going to be using. I've done my best to confirm that the toys are accurate to the show, but it's suspiciously hard to Google the actual series. And what do you want me to do to get these? Actually watch it? I think they use that as a method of punishment at Gitmo. Anyways, what's to say about this dude other than he looks like he's got a headmaster doing a handstand that's shitting out his face for a dome? And his alt mode looks like the lamest boss in a video game where rather than anything cool, it's just an ugly truck or a helicopter that then shows up every level after as a mini-boss. Gotta love his pants configuration with Hot Rod. Dude's only contribution is to turn into a front butt for the sagging middle-aged Rodimus, which is a great analogy for this whole show, actually. And then there's Ironhide, the main loser from this show, who's such an air-sucking moron they had to give him a helmet to protect the -1 brain cells he has in there that causes everyone around him to get dumber. Though maybe that just comes from looking at his face. Bro is chud ugly like a baby whose mama threw them in the trash when they first saw what a sin they committed by bringing them into the world. And his voice sounds like a pig that is currently getting a second, much larger pig shoved up its ass. Listening to him removes frequencies from your hearing by the second. And just flipping past the show for a single frame while channel surfing will kill every dog in a 3-block radius. And how is it that they managed to make every part of these characters look more fat than the rest? Like you'd think that something would look skinny in relation to everything else, but these designs just exude a bad metabolism and a brutal eating disorder like murderous intent in an anime. And who encapsulates that more than Chungus Prime? This is the show's Optimus Prime, and I still can't find pictures of this cursed-ass design. Bro looks like the only toy to ever come shipped with gout. How is it that the 80s original Optimus Prime toy looked less like a truck that someone stuck a pair of legs on than this guy? And Jesus, look how huge his windows are compared to that dude who's on his shoulder. Cybertronians aren't supposed to be that big. What is his disguise when he transforms? A truck for other less fat Cybertronians? Which, I mean, I guess they would kind of have to be, given that Optimus is King Fatty on the show. Bro has so much butter for blood that when he fuses with Omega Supreme, one of the only skinny dudes in the whole show who clearly works out a ton and is like 10 times the size of Optimus, Omega immediately starts looking like having a dad bod would be inspirational weight loss goals for him. And what is with that color scheme, Omega? Blue on one half and black and 3 shades of yellow on the other? You look like a rotting banana that got glued to the corpse of an Armada Blur toy that someone pulled out of the trash. This Optimus doesn't even fit on the Fine Boy to Oh Lord He Comin' scale. You could feed Fat Bear runner-up Chunk to 2024's reigning queen Grazer, and her BMI would still be better than Energon Optimus. Dude even still looks like he's currently in the throes of a heart attack in his super mode, which, for the love of God, should make him look skinnier, but instead he just looks like he's having open heart surgery as the doctors desperately try to save him by clearing out some of his arteries. The man is so fucking overweight, he's storing fat in his forehead. He looks like the lost sibling to the 1,000-pound sisters. Did he come to Earth to keep up his weight by eating people? God Damn, I should not be able to make this many fat jokes about a robot. But then Snowcat comes skiing in like, hold my beer. Dude looks like he's smuggling in a keg under his shirt. Is that why you have a mouthpiece? Like it's the Cybertronian equivalent of a beer helmet? Or are you just so dumb that because snow is made out of frozen water, you think you'll drown because you specialize in hanging out in it? I mean, to be fair, you look about as bright as a burnt out glow stick, so I wouldn't put it past you to be worried about drowning when you're on land even though you don't have any lungs. You are built like someone's grandpa who got addicted to meth, and your cohort is the only character I've ever seen to make me feel like my screen is broken. Also, why is it that when Cyclonus changed forms, he becomes Snowcat, but you're still just Demolisher? Were you just too dumb to be able to learn a new name? Because when you are being compared to Cyclonus, that is a legendary Olympic achievement in stupidity. Why is it that you are one of the only characters that I can actually find pictures of from the show, and all of them make you look like the frame was in standard and it got stretched out to full? Could you get any whiter while also having limbs that are thinner? You look like you glued a couple of spaghetti noodles to a sideways chest freezer that was then painted green and then had somebody shit down the side of it. Or maybe it's just two different flavors of shit with you being baby crap green. You look like the rejected design for a Constructicon cosplayer OC. But do you know who might be even whiter than you? Wingsaber, who literally I could not find pictures of from the show at all. I hate your cloaca there, dude. You look like you just took an axe to the balls. You look like what would happen if Combiner Wars Longhaul got reincarnated as an Autobot, then got strapped to a cartoon log at a sawmill, and no one bothered to come save you. But you know what? It doesn't surprise me that no one wanted to. Apparently, no one cares enough about you to put pictures of you on the internet. Speaking of guys who look like they got split in half in the absolute worst way to go, balls first, there's Jetfire. And he was always a chunky dude in Armada, but my god, is the air in the Energon universe just full of lipids or what? Because the only explanation that I can think of for all of this is that it has to be fattening just to breathe. Well, that or the guy who designed all these had cards that he wasn't showing. Or I guess was absolutely showing with every character. Dude looks like he has an exposed ribcage, and with the off-red color like dried blood, I swear this is a necromorph for the Transformers. Like one of the birthers who's full of the little snot goblins who can kill you in seconds. And how do you turn into a fucking space shuttle that looks like it needs to learn to lay off the butter? And people make fun of Skylinks for having aerodynamic issues, but this looks like it was designed by Boeing specifically to crash, which probably means that it flies like a dream. And then there's Starscream, and I don't know that I have too much to say about this one. I'd call the design stodgy, but the dude looks more like he's in a full body cast. And hey, if that's the price you gotta pay for coming back from the dead, well, that and getting rid of all the character development that people actually cared about, then maybe, yeah, it's probably still not worth it. And then there's the worst Megatron design. Because that's not Megatron, that's Galvatron. But I have to hand it to Galvi here, at least the dude looks like he works out. Though that begs the question as to how this dude loses to the Autobots when all he has to do to defeat them is jog, and it'd be like the Flash putting two between the eyes of everyone before they can react. Though I suppose that once again, this dude has stored way too much of his mass in his knees, and he does have one of the worst backpacks ever, so I guess maybe the dude has a sense of fair play, if not taste. And lastly, there is Six Gun, who is fucking shredded. Here to prove that you don't have to be in the Gravy Brigade to be a Cybertronian warrior. I swear it looks like his life's goal was to make everyone else in this continuity feel inadequate. Why is he the only one who looks like he either knows what a salad or a treadmill is? Or maybe both. He looks like the villain gym rat in a movie about people going to a fat camp. Which, I mean, I guess this whole show actually is. I hope this video didn't come off too mean-spirited, but sometimes when I know nothing about the show except for the fact that it sucks, and it has a single pervading aesthetic like this does, and I'm sleep-deprived enough to see movement in the corner of my eyes when I'm standing next to a blank wall, you get me coming at you with a thesis statement like, Transformers Energon, everyone needs a gym membership, or there's Six Gun, who already has one and loves it. But before we go, let's thank a channel backer. And this time it's Epsilon, with Titan's Return Fortress Maximus. While I've never been a fan of any version of Fort Max, I do think that there is something cool to say for the idea of a giant robot whose head is made out of another giant robot. And if there's one thing that I've heard about this thing, it's that this was a massive step up from the Metroplex that came before it. I mean, for sure it does look more like a thing in its alt modes than the CW Plex did. I don't understand how it's so hard to make these guys fold out into a city. Seriously, Polly Pocket and Mighty Max did that back in the 90s. But this is a Titan figure that actually poses well and has some kind of radiant aesthetic. He just has the vibe of someone who's gonna kick your ass. And he's actually got a pretty cool fan mode. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.